Listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar. I'm Christine Friend with Irvine Valley College. The California Career Cafe team is excited to bring you this series of webinars about career action plans. These webinars and all the great resources on the cafe are brought to you through SB 70 funding from the California Community College Chancellor's Office. I'll take just a quick moment to cover some technical details, and then we'll get started with the webinar. The entire webinar is being recorded and will be available for future viewing on the Career Briefs website. The link will be provided to you at the end. So technically, really quick here, you should have this control panel on the right side of your computer monitor. If you don't see it, then look for it. Look for the small group of icons on the top right corner. Use the double arrow to click and expand your control panel. If you have any questions or comments, please use the questions area right down here to chat with me, and I will try to help you if I can. If it's a question for Rita, I will hold it until the end and ask everyone to hold their questions to the end, and then Rita will answer you. So please be sure to stick around to the end. Now to the webinar. There's Rita. I'd like to introduce her. Most of you already know her and all the great work she does for the Career Cafe. So without further delay, I'll turn it over to Rita. Hi, Rita.
Hello, Christine. How are you doing? Let me bring up my, sorry. There we go. Now we're ready. Okay, thank you. Well, welcome back to all of you to our final webinar in our series on the Career Cafe and the new CAP project. And special thanks to all of you that have been here with us for all 4 webinars. It's actually been a fun series, and I sincerely hope it has been worth your time. As you can see today, we're going to talk about the Prepare section of the Café website. And again, I'll take you through and point out a few of my favorite resources. And we'll talk about also CAP number 4. And that, as you know, is our structured approach to the Café that's going to result in some measurable results for you. So let's take a look at the agenda to start. Beginning today, I'm going to share a little inspiration with you, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But we're also going to review the Café Live, the Prepare section. We're going to talk about the CAP, number 4, and about why this approach could be a benefit for you and your students, and about some of the potential uses of the CAP, a discussion that I'm really hoping that you will add to and help me with so we can all be able to get some more ideas from that. We also have a relatively new area of the website called Apply, and Susan's going to show us what's available there and some important information about data collection also in that area. And then we'll end the session with any sharing or questions that you might have. So let's get started. You know, last week I was watching a 60 Minutes episode, and they had a program called Year Up. I don't know if any of you saw that or not, but I was actually just really impressed with the program and decided to share it today, a few clips from that, because it's so much in alignment with our beliefs and what the Career Cafe is all about. And I think it's important that we all kind of hold this vision about the difference that acquiring these skills and using these resources can make for our students. So I want to see what you think. So let's just take a look. It's like a 12.5-minute video, which we of course don't have time to show, but I have just a few minutes, I think, that we'll be able to take a view and you'll be able to get an idea. If you want to see more, you just go to Google and put in Year Up and then 60 Minutes, and lots of information will come up about it. Just apologies at the beginning. There's a 7-second Viagra commercial, but we'll get past that. All right, let me put the Bluetooth on here. look at that.
It may surprise you to learn that even in this time of stubbornly high unemployment, there are hundreds of thousands of good jobs available that companies are finding hard to fill. But one Wall Street veteran believes he's found an overlooked source of talent that could be the answer. He started something called Year Up, a year-long jobs training boot camp for some of the country's most disadvantaged young people. And so far, thousands of graduates are now working at companies like J.P. Morgan, American Express, and Facebook. The result is that many of the country's most powerful CEOs are finding that they can do well by also doing good.
The story will continue in a moment.
This is the age of knowing what you're made of. Why let erectile dysfunction get in your way? Talk to your doctor about Viagra. Ask if your heart is healthy enough.
Sorry.
Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain.
Sorry, I've just got to get, well, I guess maybe I don't need to. I'll just let that run. Can you hear me, Christine? Would you just give a thumbs up if you can?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. While we're waiting for that to finish, I'd just like to tell you that what I really love about this program is the focus on skills and a relentless focus on networking and understanding office culture. They're teaching what they call the ABCs, which is attitudinal skills, behavioral skills, and communication skills, so that these students can survive. One of my favorite parts is business standards apply to this whole program. And if they're told if they show up late for work, no one cares. And if they do that or forget their homework, part of their stipend is stopped. So let's listen in.
For these students, it's day one of corporate boot camp.
So let's make sure that these are up and running.
Put your papers down.
Crash courses on everything from building and maintaining computers to the basics of accounting and balance sheets.
18 minutes. Go.
They'll learn to work together and try to overcome generations of endemic poverty.
Your success here is yours.
Now you go to the interview, what do you need to use?
They must learn not just business and technical skills, but social skills.
Why is that a good handshake?
Strong.
And work hard enough to build the foundation of a career.
What is a better way to make a connection with someone?
Don't let the suits and ties fool you. Almost everyone at Year Up has faced almost unimaginable hardship in getting here. Poverty, drugs, foster care, men's and women's shelters. You name it.
We're going to a professional skills course.
This all-out corporate training blitz is the brainchild of Gerald Chertavian, the Wall Street veteran who believes that he's discovered an untapped source of talent among the poorest in the country.
A majority of the young adults growing up in isolated poverty in our inner cities want opportunity, want to be challenged, want to be held to high expectations, and are motivated to actually get a good job. They haven't had any exposure as to how do you do that.
Yet to a good part of the population, those people are invisible.
Absolutely invisible. You know, it so saddens me if someone would see our young adult on the street and rather than think that's my next best employee, they clutch their wallet. And that happens. And part of this perception change is if enough young people see our students working in the best companies, they'll change perception.
Changing perception started.
So that's all we'll cover for now. Let me get my screen back here. Come on. Oh dear. There we go. Okay. Now back to the webinar. Sorry. All right, so just a few last words about that. I think I mentioned that if they're docked in the stipend that they're paid, and if they have more than 7 times of being late or forgetting their homework, they're out of the program. So about 25% of them don't make it. But yet what really struck me about this particular training was, first of all, how closely aligned it is with all the things we're going to talk about today in the resources on the Café. But it's that all of our community college students, not just the ones that are in an impoverished category, but there isn't a student that I don't know that doesn't need opportunity and wants to be challenged and doesn't really know how to get access to really good jobs. So I think that kind of support and training is just actually for every single young person. And what I really particularly like also in this boot camp concept is the fact that they've addressed adversity and taken on the challenges that our students have. And I think we've all always been concerned about our dropout rate. But what they're doing is teaching these young people that what they've gone through really has helped them develop the resiliency that they need to be successful. So overall, they've got the whole package, and I just think it's really well done. So I wanted to share that with you. All right, so let's get started on the cafe. We're going to go live to the fourth section today, which is called Prepare. Let's get that screen bigger here. Okay, remember we've talked in the last weeks about start, explore, experience. Today we're going to go to Prepare. And for those of you that may be on the call for the first time today with us, all of the sections of the cafe are organized in kind of a like manner. There's always going to be 6 lessons, and we'll go to resume, and I'll share a little bit about what the landing page is going to be like for each lesson because they're all very similar. There's always going to be a basic foundation or just summary of what that lesson is about. There's going to be a video that will set the foundation for that particular topic. Under the good to know, many times there's just web links. I love some of the infographics that have been included this time, usually a supplemental video, and always a student activity so that they can actually get practice. And it gives you, with this combination of things here on this screen, actually all the tools you need to either run a workshop or to be able to use it in a classroom. So let's take a look at this first video on resumes. I think it's only about 1 minute and 51 seconds, so we'll...
What's the perfect resume? There are a couple components it's got to have. First is the 3 things that your hiring manager will look at on your resume above all else is your past job experience, your titles at past companies, and your educational experience. So make sure those 3 things are clearly identifiable and easily accessible in your resume. Number 2, match those bullet points in your resume of your past achievements and responsibilities specifically up with all the job description specifics for your new job. And for every item that's listed in the job description, make sure that there's a matching achievement or responsibility in one of your past roles. Next, make sure your resume is never more than 2 pages long. I don't care what you've accomplished in your life, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, you get the resume on the 2 pages. And finally, have a interesting and professional and different visual format. So you want to make sure that when you turn in a resume to somebody, visually it stands out. And that may mean putting some information on the right column side or having it be in a really professional format, but don't just use those basic templates that everybody sees. Have something unique and differentiated so people know that the visual representation of your resume expresses that you're going to put time, effort, and energy into everything you do going forward. If you follow those recommendations for how to put together your resume, you're always going to give yourself a chance to have that 1 or 2 sheets of paper help you stand out amongst the crowd.
Okay, so very short, very easy to understand video around resumes. Let's take a look. I like this keyword graphic here talking about what employers are looking for in resume and what percentage of employers look at that. Some interesting statistics, maybe that 72% of resumes never get seen, and if there's a spelling or grammar mistake, it's gone. I think this one is again one of the infographics that has a lot of, yes, this one actually has a lot of basic information about resumes that would be an interesting format for students to look at and understand. Let's see if we can get back from that. All right, then this young man, oh shoot. Sorry, a little glitch here with my speaker. All right, this young man is actually really good. It happens to be 9 minutes, again, too long for our purposes today. This would be one you'd want to assign to a student. But it's great. It shows how they're transforming a resume. So it's a whole presentation that actually shows results of a resume and how to improve it, and I think it's excellent. And then this activity I really like. Let's bring that up because I think more and more our students need to be able to see what isn't so good and then what's better, because they don't always get that unless they see the visual example of that. And this is a good one for them, and then they write their own results-oriented statements based on their qualities and their accomplishments. So that's a good one, again, that they could then share after they're done. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the next one, which is in the job search category. This happens to be an extra section or a bonus section of the CAP, so I won't go into a lot of detail with this today. Although this young woman says that it takes an average job seeker 9 months to get a job. And she shares some good information about how contacting certain hiring managers and managing your search in a certain way can reduce that to more like 3 months. And she does a good job. I like the good to know apps over here, the top recommended ones. They talk about Indeed and LinkedIn and Monster. But one of my favorite videos on this page is this one here about meeting potential employers at career fairs. This should be a mandatory pre-requirement for if you have a career fair on your campus, because it's a real quick-paced video that goes through and speaks, or has a lot of different employers speak about what works at career fairs, what students should be prepared to do, what they're looking for, just all kinds of good information given to you by the employer. And then here we've got the 100 best companies to work for, which is an interesting one to review. And the worksheet on this one, again, is going to allow students to answer some real basic questions about their job search. I think many times they really don't have a clear objective or an idea about what it is that they're seeking. So here they're going to have to spell it out. So identify what they're looking for, create really the few target companies that they really would like to work for, identify who those employers are and have to actually figure out who's the contact there, and then what's the step that they're willing to commit to taking. So that's a good activity. All right, let's go to networking. And this, as you saw in the 60 Minutes video a little bit earlier, this is a really critical area for our students to learn more and I think get more practice time around how do you do that. This young lady that's in the video talks about how people are the most important source for getting jobs, and I think makes that pretty understandable. There's something about social media here. There's a couple different videos within this section of the website, in the Prepare section, that this young woman is involved in, and she's great. I really like her. Very well spoken. Not really sure how that got bigger like that, but let's make it smaller. Oops. Anyway, she's good. Let's see if I can get back this way. All right, let's try that again. And also down here, there's 5 steps to better small talk. And I have kind of a personal thing about small talk because I think I have observed so many of our students, particularly our young ones, are just very unsure of themselves when they're talking to adults, and particularly talking to adults about something important like jobs or job interviews or any of that. And they really don't understand much about the whole small talk arena. So this is a nice infographic that covers, how you get started, some kind of introductory things you could say, how to find a topic, that you have in common with them, some things maybe to stay away from and be careful about, and then how to get out of that. But I also want to show you, while I'm here, another resource that you may not be aware of that's excellent. I'm going to go to Career Briefs. That's our site for the professionals. We'll go there again a little later to talk about the CAPs. That's where they're located on the same page. But this time I'm going to go to Backpack to Briefcase, which is one of our resources that teaches soft skills to our students. And I think it's about the second page or so. It's called Small Talk is a Big Deal. And this is also an excellent activity that you can use. This one right here, I've used it several times with faculty and with counselors to show them how easy it is once you know that there's 3 things you can talk about. You can make an observation, like here they use the example of the weather. You can ask a question, a simple question of someone, or you can reveal something about yourself. And this particular activity is done in concentric circles, and you get the opportunity to try out small talk with a couple different people. And it's really good. I like it a lot. So let's go back to the cafe and back to that page. Now, remember again in the 60 Minutes video how they were practicing their handshake. And I know Susan and I have done this activity many times during our trainings, because again, it's becoming aware of what the qualities are that go into shaking hands that makes it a successful handshake. And it seems like it should be a real simple, ordinary thing. And if you shake hands all the time, it probably is. But again, I found for our students that isn't a normal part of their world. And it's really something that needs to be talked about, and it's something where they need the practice. So that sheet is there, and I think it's an excellent activity, one of my favorites. All right, let's go to link. And I hope many of you that are on the call today were at our fall training last November. And Lindsay Pollock, who's the ambassador for LinkedIn, was one of our speakers. And in a minute, I'll show you where her PowerPoint from that is located in case you were not able to attend that. But let's take a look right now. This happens to be a video that was developed by LinkedIn, and we'll see what this young lady has to say.
In today's job market, it can be hard to find that perfect job. Luckily, there's some great tools out there to help you. LinkedIn is one that every student, graduate, and professional should be using. You may be wondering, what is LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn is a social networking site that combines the information of a traditional resume with the social connectivity of Facebook. With LinkedIn, you can share your resume with millions of people and thousands of potential employers, making it an essential tool for anyone looking to start or advance their career. I'm going to help you get started. You get started on LinkedIn by creating an account and setting up a profile. It's really easy to do and should only take a few minutes. Let's set up your account now. First, enter your name, email, and secret password. Be sure to use your real name and an email address that you check often. Next, you'll be asked to fill out a slightly more detailed form. First, fill in your employment status, and then the rest of the form. On this next step, LinkedIn is going to ask you to enter an email address so it can automatically connect you with people you know. We'll show you how to make connections later, so I recommend you skip this step and stay focused on creating your profile. Next, confirm that the email you entered is in fact yours. And finally, this last step will let you know you're almost done. Go ahead and skip this step as well. All right, now you have a LinkedIn account. Choose the basic package since you're just getting started. Great, you are now a LinkedIn member. To begin using LinkedIn, you need to complete your profile. Next, I'll show you how to make it stand out from all the rest.
All right, again, very simple, very straightforward, I think easy for a student to understand. As a follow-up in the good to know column, this young man here is one of several people that are talking about the fact that they're on LinkedIn and how you can connect through to totally diverse kinds of people through that particular site, LinkedIn. Here's 10 tips to use social media. This standout, online here is really good on learning how to enhance your online ID. Let's take a look at the prepare worksheet. And again, I like this one also because a student can just check off where they are in terms of their profile with these particular things. Do they give a job title? Do they include a recommendation? Have they joined at least one group? Actual tasks that they need to complete to make sure that they have a quality profile that's there for them. So, good stuff in there. And you know, while I'm while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go back to briefs, and let's share with you where Lindsay's, remember I'm back on the free resource section of the briefs. Down here on the right are all the presentations, and Isa Adney was one of our speakers. This Choose or Lose is hers, and here is Lindsay's right now, Leveraging Social Media for Student Career Success. So if you weren't able to attend that, you can take a look at that. There's actually other ones. When Sonia Ortiz Mercado from the Chancellor's Office spoke at a workshop about student success, her PowerPoint is there. Our other webinars are here. Susan's going to be talking in just a very short minute about the Find a Job section, and those webinars are located right here too. So lots of resources on this free resource page. All right, let's go then, moving ahead to the cover letter. And this is just a simple little video that has 5 points. It's an avatar that talks about, the essential points that need to be covered in a cover letter. I particularly like this Purdue University Good Cover Letter Guide. And here's some simple to-dos, and then a quiz that will really let them see if what should be included in the cover letter. Now the interview lesson. This video in this particular one is probably one of my favorite in this whole section, because I wish that before I went on some job interviews that I had actually watched and prepared this way. So take a look and see what you think.
Hi, I'm Ed Buzio, CEO of Group Harmonics. I'm going to tell you how to prepare for a job interview. If you have a job interview coming up, you know you need to prepare. It's not always clear what you should do. I'm going to show you a model I adapted from talent management expert Brent Bloom that says how to best spend your time preparing for a job interview. It's a 3-step model. The first step is to set the context. This is like preparing to prepare. To do that, you go to the job description. Almost every job description has 2 sections. Somewhere in there you'll find skills and competencies, or what they want you to know if they're going to hire you, and you'll find experience requirements, or what they want you to have done if they're going to hire you. You're going to take those 2 pieces of information, and you're going to make a list for the job. For everything here, you're going to put a bullet on the list. So for skills and competencies, they want you to know Microsoft Excel, you're going to put it on the list. They want you to know basic accounting, you're going to put it on the list. For experiences, they want you to have managed more than 5 people, put it on the list. They want you to have run customer groups or interacted with customers, done some customer service, put it on the list. The reason you do that is because now you're going to make a second list right next to the job list, and this is the list for you. Now for everything on the job list, you're going to put at least 1 bullet here. Here's how you do that. For skills and competencies, you put examples. So if they want you to know Excel, you're going to put the time you use Excel in Project X to help get the project back on track. They want you to know basic accounting, you're going to talk about customer Y and how you help that customer with their accounting systems. Down here, for experiences, you're going to go a step further and include metrics. They want you to have managed greater than 5 people, you're going to make a note of that team of 6 you managed, and you're going to make a note of your % turnover scores and how they were among the best in your company. They want you to have done customer service, you're going to make a note of that user group you ran, and you're going to make a note of the positive customer service statistics, customer satisfaction, that prove you did it well. You see what you're doing here is you're taking things a step further. If they say they want you to know it, you say, I know it and I've done it. If they say they want you to have done it, you say, I've done it, I've proven successful at it. Now once you've done this, you're done with step 1, you're ready for step 2. Step 2 is to prepare your answers. To do that, you need to figure out what questions you might get asked. Now here are 4 examples. Questions about success are common. That is, when have you been successful? How'd you do it? Questions.
As you can see, that's over a 4-minute video. We're just going to cover a couple minutes of it, but it's very well done, very, again, straightforward and clear. And I think many of you have also used the STAR method, which is really about behavior-based interviews. This is a great video. It's a little bit longer. I think it's about six minutes or so there. We're not going to view that today, but it's a great precursor to this activity, which is all about the STAR technique and what appropriate questions there would be, and then they come up with one STAR answer to one of their questions. So again, more practice, more opportunity for them to be able to actually know what these things mean and what they feel like. You can see we have a little issue with speaker. Okay, there we go. This is a fun one, this particular little video right here that has tips for a great phone interview, top 5 tips. It's mostly really about what not to do, which is very good. And I like this Amp Up Your Interview. It's about being authentic and memorable. It's a whole behind the scenes of a fictitious interview, and it's very good. Here's examples of 10 different interview questions and 10 great answers. So lots of good resources on this particular page. And that's really pretty much the 6 lessons that are there in that prepare section. So let's go to apply, and I'm going to turn it over to Susan. Let me get my screen back so I can. All right, Susan, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. Do you want to maximize the screen, Rita?
Yes, I will. Just, are the speakers a problem?
No, not right now.
Okay, so there you go.
Thank you. Let me give you a little background for those who might not know. The state came to us last year, and one of the missing things we had on the Café was a place for students to apply for jobs. And the CWIB, the California WIB, and then the EDD were developing this new site for CalJobs. And they were in the process, it was like a $15 or $25 million project. And they offered us an opportunity to have our own portal. So we worked with GeoSolutions Incorporated to develop this portal for community college students and faculty that would add some features to the Café that we didn't have, and one of the major one being linking to a job. And you know, I think it's been successful in that. I'm hearing now that they're starting to add this to RFAs, that students who go through, if you have a program and you have students going through a specific program, they're going to be asked to register on CalJobs, and it would be to your advantage, rather than having them go direct to the CalJobs site, is to have them register through the Café. Because then, number one, you could be an administrator for your site, and if you want to be an administrator for your site, all you need to do is send me your name, address, phone number, and email, fax number, and I will set you up with a username and password. So you can go in to the administrative side of your site. We're going to do that briefly. I'm going to have Rita sign me in. But there are also things that you can do free. And over on the left-hand side, it tells you students can search jobs and internships, post resumes, and apply for jobs. You can search for jobs and internships without signing in to the Find a Job. You can't post a resume or you can't apply for jobs unless you're signed in or have registered as a client. Employers can post jobs and internships, review resumes, and evaluate job applications. So there's a lot of functions within this site that you can do in terms of managing your students, and you can get reports on your students, following them to their jobs. You can go in and review their resumes as long as they give you access. You can help them write their resumes. There's a lot of helpful things that you can do on this site. Rita, if you will click on Search Jobs and Internships right now. Yeah. I think this is a rather helpful feature. And you can see there's a variety of search criteria, but the first one that comes up, it says area code. So if you put on zip code, put in 92606 under zip code. Right. And then under keywords, put in interior designer. And click search. I just did this so I knew what was here. And you can see that there are a variety of jobs and internships that are available, both for interior designers that have a bachelor's degree, but also for interior design assistants, part-time interior design assistants, There's a wide variety of jobs. There's residential jobs, there's commercial jobs. So students can go in and start looking at what's available in various zip code areas. If you go back to the top of that and go to Advanced Job Search, do the back button, Rita.
Okay.
And go Advanced Job Search. You can go back and select new areas. You can even go in and search. If you go back to the top of that, you can job search by employer. Click that one. So you can go into your zip codes and you can go in and go to a specific employer if you're looking, say, at Boeing, or Gensler was one of the interior design firms that were there. You can job search by education. So you could have students go in here and see, you know, what are the, at the education level. It could be an AA degree, high school or equivalent, 1 or 2 years of a technical or vocational school, a vocational school certificate, associate degree. You can go into any one of those education areas and try the associate's degree, Rita, and search on that. Let's see if anything comes up.
Wow.
Yeah, see, here's all kinds of things that you can do with an associate's degree. There's machine operators, production, CAD technicians, graphic artists. You know, so there's a wide variety of jobs that are available in this particular area, and you can change the distance in the area if you're looking for particular jobs. All you would have to do, yeah, radius of 10 miles, and you can actually change that if you want to change your radius. And back up at the top, I'm not going to go through these, but you can job search by skills, you can job search by resume criteria, or if you have a specific job number, you can search by that as well. And you can do all of these things without registering on Find a Job or registering on the CalJobs site. Go all the way over to the left-hand side, Rita, and you can see where they have services for individuals. It's the third black line down, all the way to the left, right there. Service for individuals. So on this site, free of charge, don't have to register. There's career services. They can do some career exploration, find job openings, market trends, education services, so they can even search for different schools and providers, training providers, and the last one is labor market needs. So all of those things are available to students without registering. Now, go back up to Resume Builder, Rita, right on the left-hand side. Come down, right there. Okay, it says you have to register, so click OK and then register. Sorry about this, but as she's signing in, and Rita pointed out to you on Career Briefs that we had the webinars that we did a few weeks ago. We have those archived on the Career Briefs. We had a young lady from EDD who is one of their master trainers who did a really nice job. It was very quick and there was a ton of information. I mean, she just went into depth in everything. But you have trainers at your local EDD or WIB offices that are available to train, to come to your campus to train you or to train your staff, say in your career center. And you really need to do that. And you really need to have somebody, it's okay, Rita, don't worry. Yeah. You really need to have somebody who has administrative rights, you know, to this, so that you can go in and get the reports, and you can go in and look at the resumes, and they can go in and help students. If anybody's ever registered on this site, let's say 10 years ago somebody had registered for whatever reason, they have a username and password. Sometimes they forget those, and so there's an easy way to retrieve username and passwords. and those usually come to me, and I usually can go in within a short period of time to help them get their usernames and passwords. So there's lots of resources at Find a Job. Let us know if you need additional training. I've been talking to Christine about even that we could provide you with some simple training right on your desktop using probably a similar webinar or a GoToMeeting format. So thank you all for participating in the Café and the CAP webinars this month, and we hope that you'll keep in touch and let us know what we can do to help you. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. That's great. Okay, we have just a couple minutes left. Let me just go over briefly the newest CAP, especially for those of you that may not have been on the call before, just to make sure that you understand that there's just certain key components for each of these CAPs so that you can be able to have the data reporting necessary. There's going to be a pre-test, a post-test, and student learning outcomes for each of the CAPs. It's outlined. Let me show you what that looks like. And I do want to mention one thing here. We really are interested in how these are working for you. As you can tell, they're brand new. We know we don't have all the kinks worked out yet, but it's something that we really want to work with you and adapt to make sure that it meets your needs. So please be in touch with us about that. I hope that these are really easy to assign to your high school partners, or maybe to your CTE faculty could be using these with their classes. What I'm going to do in the Educator's Guide is post a link to the CAPs and also an optional embed code. So if you want to send a link via email to the CAPs, or you want to actually embed it on your website, you'll be able to do that, and you'll find that within that Educator's Guide. Which, speaking of the Educator's Guide, here it is. And this is also located, remember, in the free resource section on the Career Briefs website. It'll be right up there with the CAPs as soon as I get this final version done. And just to show you, the student learning outcomes are outlined there for all 4 of the CAPs. There's going to be a pre-test, which is what you would give to your students before you gave them the assignment of the CAP. And then you would give them the same post-test at the conclusion of that so you can see if they've gained anything in the way of knowledge. This happens to be your key to that with the answers. We've already talked about the apply section. And Susan, if you wanted to take just a minute, I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to say about things that they could be aware of that might be ahead for us with the grant. Any comments at all?
We have the Career Pathways Trust Grant, which is $250 million that's coming out now. That's all been posted. The best way to find that information is go to CDE and look at their grants page, all the information that you need. However, it is being developed on a regional level, so you need to find out who in your region is working on that Career Pathways Trust. All of the things that I see coming down right now are going to be focused around job skills and career pathways and getting students to move through the career pathways to success. And how are they defining success? Completion with a C or better of a course, completion of a certificate or a degree, or transfer. And you're seeing those things in the Student Success Act. Most colleges are scrambling to put those into their systems, and I hope that you're all involved in developing those plans and those systems that they're going to be using to report their student success. But those are the things that I see coming down the pike in terms of funding opportunities, and there's a lot of money in that Career Pathways Trust. There's a lot of money in 1070, which is out on a regional basis. I think there were, I'm going to say 15, I could be off on the number, but they have 3 years of funding, again, for almost the same thing, to develop career pathways, working with middle schools, high schools, and community colleges. And we've shown you lots of resources on this site, or things that we've developed over the years for middle schools, high schools, and of course community college students. So we hope that you'll use our resources. If you need training, if you need faculty externships, we're going to be working with the deputy sector navigators and doing some sector work, because they want counselors to know about their particular sector. So we're planning 2 workshops in the fall again, similar to what we've done in the past. We'll have one in Northern California, one in Southern California. I have November 16th verified for Southern California, and I haven't heard from the Sheraton Grand as yet. So we'll be providing lots of new resources and connections. We felt that our theme for next year would be connections. What we need to do now is connect all of you and all the people that can use these resources to the activities and resources that have been developed.
Okay, that's great, Susan. Thank you. Lots of, actually, I think it's exciting. There's lots of money and lots of things ahead for specifically around the kind of work that we do. So it's very cool. Now, any questions at all that Susan or I can help you with, please let us know. Let me get back to the screen so I can see if there's anything that comes up. Christine, any questions at all?
Let me take a look here.
This is your chance.
I don't see any so far.
Okay. Well, if you have one, please just put it in the little chat box. But also, you know how to reach Susan and myself, and we're more than willing and able and interested in being able to help you in furthering your work and your program. So please be in touch with us again, and thank you so much for taking part in our workshops. And I'll turn it back over to Christine.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I just want to also remind everyone, once again, don't forget about our great resources on the Career Cafe and the Career Briefs website. And a LinkedIn group, a link will be sent to you following the webinar. I'd also like to just thank Rita and Susan so much for this wonderful series of webinars. I've learned so much. It's been so much fun to be a part of it. And so thanks to them and to everyone who has participated. And with that, I would just like to sign off and say goodbye, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.